Hey, I'm Justin from Cognito Motorsports. Today we're going to do a lift kit, a 3-inch lift kit on this brand new 2021 Platinum Ford F350 Super Duty 4-wheel drive. One thing I want to tell you, 2017 is when Ford changed this platform, the new body, the new chassis. 2017, 2018, and 2019 F250s and 350s were 1 inch taller than this truck is. In 2020, Ford lowered the trucks 1 inch, front and rear. Then they came out with a trimmer package, which was back to the height of a 2017, 18, and 19. So a trimmer is 1 inch taller than this. The parts all fit the same. If you got a new trimmer, this would be a 2-inch lift kit. On this truck, it's a 3-inch lift kit. Okay, we use the same springs, the same shocks, everything's the same. Ford just decided to put a shorter stock block in the rear and a shorter coil spring in the front. So we're going to show you our Cognito 3-inch lift kit on this truck, and the options that we're going to do make this a 3-inch elite lift kit. Okay, I've got all the parts for this 3-inch elite lift kit laid out here on the table. I'm going to go through them so you know what you're getting. First of all, these are our new coil springs. These are going to replace the stock coil springs. We're not using just a spacer. These springs are going to give us 3 inches of lift in the front on that truck. The springs that we have wound are dual rate. They're a progressive spring. Nice ride quality. When you get into the travel, spring rate comes up, a little bottom out protection. On a solid axle truck like this, whenever you lift the front, the axle is going to shift over because you got a drag link and a track bar. So this kit is going to come with a new heavy duty fixed length track bar. This track bar, you may have in the past heard of death wobble, things like that. Death wobble can come from a couple different things. It can come from wore out front shocks that aren't doing their job dampening. It can also come from worn out bushings and OEM track bars. This drag link is the proper length to get the axle centered back up when you do this lift kit. Whether it be 2-inch like I mentioned earlier, or a 3-inch like on this truck, same track bar. FK rod ends in both ends, stainless taper pin for the axle end there. Heavy duty piece right there. No guessing, we don't need it adjustable. There's no guessing on the length, no adjustment to make. Pull the stock one out, put the new one in, make sure the hardware is tight. I mean, this stuff has to be really tight because these are really big bolts that go in this end. Also, because we're going to put longer shocks on this truck, we are a little limited as to being able to compress the same amount to the same position, bump or compression as stock. So it's going to come with some 1-inch bump stop spacers. That way we make sure we don't bottom the shock out. If you bottom the front shock out, these trucks are really heavy. You got that big diesel engine in the front. You could rip the shock tabs or crack the axle, things like that. Either the frame or the axle, one end or the other, where the shock mounts. That's no good. Another item here is brake line brackets. So if you notice on your frame rails, you got brake line brackets that secure the brake lines to the frame. We reposition those because they're a little short for adding 2 to 3 inches of lift on these trucks. Pretty easy to install there. Now, this is an elite kit. Big dog. So these are 2.5-inch shocks. These are the Fox Factory Race Series. We call them elite shocks. We've got dual speed compression adjusters, front and rear. Front is a remote reservoir. We have brackets that these reservoirs will mount right above the shocks, nicely seen in the fender well. And the rear shocks are a piggyback. Now, one thing we did with Fox on these is we inverted the piggyback. Normally, this is turned this way. Well, we've got these down here. That way, you can reach under the truck and easily adjust your shocks right here. So if you're towing a heavy load, you might want to crank some compression into it. You don't have to get all up underneath the truck, get your arm all greasy, trying to get to the top of the shock, trying to change your compression dampening. It's much easier to get to this way. These rear shocks do come with two different bushing sets, because this kit will fit a 2011 all the way up. So in a 2011, Ford used a little smaller bolt down here on the lower end on the axle in the rear. These shocks come with that. So when you get this kit, you're going to have 2 sets of bushings and sleeves for the rear. Just got to install the right set, and you're good to go. Now, like I mentioned, the 2020 and 2021s are 1 inch lower than the older trucks were, okay? So we're gonna lift the rear as well. That way we get a nice stance, not too low in the back. So we're gonna lift the rear 1 inch. The 2020 and 2021s that are not the trimmer package, came with a 2-inch tall OE block. We're going to replace that with a 3-inch tall one. Longer U-bolts, heavy duty, zinc plated. This rounds out all the package here. The good thing about lifting a Super Duty, it's pretty easy. There's no adjusting torsion bars for ride height and all that junk. You never want to use a spacer, a leveling spacer underneath our springs. Do not do it. You will run out of droop travel. You will screw up track bar and drag link angles, things like that. It's a 3-inch lift kit package. Really nice setup. We're going to put 37 1250 18s on this truck with some method wheels. We're going to go ahead and get busy installing stuff. We'll show you what it looks like afterwards. All right, our 2021 Platinum Super Duty is done now. So this is the 3-inch Cognito Elite lift kit. So this was a 3-inch lift in the front and it's a 1-inch lift in the back. So this had those Fox 2.5-inch shocks, or 3-inch coil springs for this model of truck. And as you can see on a Super Duty, I mean, with that little amount of lift, you can easily fit a 37. So this is a Toyo RT. It's an open country RT. It's a 37 1250 R18 tire, load range E. One of my favorite wheels, the Method Race wheels. This is an 18-inch by 9-inch wide wheel. And the offset is a positive 18mm offset. Didn't hardly have to do any trimming, just a little bit back here, a little bit up there. It just literally takes 5 minutes. Really nice package right here. You could put a 0 offset wheel on an 18 by 9. You could use a 0 offset. It's going to kick those tires out about another 3/4 of an inch or so. Both would look really good. I really like the 12.5 wide tire instead of a 13.5 wide tire, but to each his own. You know, it's whatever you like. So here's our 2021. Hope you like it.